Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great one. We'll be covering all kinds of different topics today, kind of rapid fire style with all of these news items that are breaking on the part of Cardano, Chainlink, Tomochain, Digibyte, and Trustswap. We'll also be taking a look at this story which highlights major impropriety and a lot of hypocrisy on the part of JP Morgan. They got into a lot of trouble. They got caught with their pants down effectively doing some kind of financial fraud in one form or another, as all of the major banks do. And they, washed their hands by paying a $1 billion fine. I point out the hypocrisy because if any of us were to do this on the side of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, we'd be thrown in jail and they would throw away the key. So just another day in the world of JP Morgan Chase, apparently. We'll cover all that, guys. If you like this kind of content, of course, subscribe and hit the like button below. Let's start with a look at the markets today. We're on CoinGecko.com. Down a little bit again, unfortunately, down 1.3% today, $332 billion. Bitcoin down 1.3% in these last 24 hours, right now at $10,377. As you can see, we did retrace towards that 10K range, but bounced back up in the $10,150 or so range. Different projects down a handful of percentage points, unfortunately. We're seeing, however, what's largely unchanged is the Bitcoin dominance, which remains, at least in these last few weeks, with that snapshot in mind, relatively strong at 57.8%. Jason A. Williams here on Twitter with the handle Going Parabolic had this to say: "These banksters never stop. Joke's on us. You would be in prison if you did this stuff," referring to this news item by JP Morgan and Chase. Well, I should say by CNBC, who have highlighted these trading malpractices by JP Morgan and Chase. That company must now pay about $1 billion in fines to resolve a U.S. investigation. Always curious how they can just throw money at the problem and it goes away. I find that very suspicious and super, super hypocritical. Don't forget, guys, you have the JP Morgans of the world, you have the Jamie Dimons of the world, you have the traditional bankers of the world who blasted Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain really for years now. I'd say especially Bitcoin. And all the while this is happening behind the scenes. It seems like every week or so, JP Morgan or HSBC or some of the major European banks, they're always just paying off their fines. They're always just manipulating currency in illegal manners. And this is when they get caught. Can you imagine all the times that they don't get caught? Here's the headline: JP Morgan to pay almost $1 billion fine to resolve U.S. investigation into trading practices. I should read malpractices as far as I'm concerned. The investigations concern alleged manipulation of metal and treasuries markets, according to a person with knowledge of the matter. So a settlement between New York-based JP Morgan and several U.S. agencies could come as soon as this week, according to Bloomberg, which first reported news of the fine. The deal would resolve probes from the Justice Department, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, and the Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Those two organizations are very concerned about the legitimacy of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrency. We used to talk about them more when it was more in vogue to talk about the Bitcoin ETF. Of course, both the CFTC and the SEC were involved there. But it seems like they have their hands full with the likes of JP Morgan and other renegade banks that are simply making the traditional system look very, very weak indeed and very corrupt indeed. JP Morgan may be forced to admit wrongdoing in the settlement, but the deal isn't expected to result in business restrictions on other areas of the firm. Of course not, said the person who declined to be identified, speaking about government probes. Guys, take a look at the article in full on CNBC. We'll link to it in the description below. I don't want to dive too much further into this, but I don't want JP Morgan to get away with this, and so therefore we're at least highlighting it. We're showing you guys the hypocrisy. Let us know your thoughts about it below. I can't really say I'm all that outraged. I mean, it's not acceptable, certainly, but this is something that I've almost become numb to, and this is sort of the expectation. I associate JP Morgan with these kinds of moves, these kinds of shady dealings. They will continue to do this to the extent that they feel they won't get caught, and when they do, again, it's just another fine. $1 billion is something they can absorb fairly easily. However, let's switch gears now and discuss some positive news in the form of Tomochain at Tomochain and here on Twitter from just a few hours ago. TOMOE is an ERC20 token hosted on the Ethereum blockchain backed by an equal amount of native TOMO. Let us walk through how to swap between TOMO and TOMOE with our newest version of TOMO Bridge. Here's the document in full that's linked to in that last tweet, docs.tomochain.com, how to swap native TOMO on Tomochain either to or from TOMOE, which is ERC20 on Ethereum. We'll link to this in the description below. Continuing here at Tomochain, and TomoBridge has been upgraded to expand the utility of the Tomochain blockchain by enabling cross-chain DeFi participation by TomoBridge version 1.1.0, which now supports swapping Tomo to or from Binance Chain and Ethereum, and tokens on the other chains to or from Tomochain tokens from a single web interface. TomoBridge's vision is to allow for any project on any chain to be able to seamlessly swap to and from the Tomochain blockchain permissionlessly. In the near future, we plan to support other relevant chains and ensure Tomochain is well represented. Finally, let's now introduce TOMOE ERC20, our one-to-one equivalent of Tomo on Ethereum. TOMOE will immediately be listed on Uniswap protocol, the largest Ethereum decentralized exchange, to enable access of our platform token to the wider blockchain ecosystem. Listing pairs include TOMOE and ETH, TOMOE and USDT, and TOMOE and USDC. Now we have updates from our friends over at Chain Games. At Real Chain Games is the Twitter handle. Make sure you're following. We are proud to announce we have collaborated and integrated with Layer 2 provider MATIC Network to enable super fast and super cheap Ethereum transactions for all Chain Games transactions, providing a superior UX for all users. And then here, quoting MATIC Network from less than a day ago, Real Chain Games from the team behind Trustswap is bringing a complete decentralized gaming ecosystem to MATIC. Chain Games will enable smart contract-based wagering on games, including in-house games, third-party developer releases, and those by established game studios. Jared Tate now on Twitter, who is of course the Digibyte founder, he has the following really thread that he wanted to discuss here. This from just a few hours ago. A memo to the Digibyte blockchain community on the real-world adoption and commercialization of use cases built upon DGB. Since 2014, I have had hundreds, if not thousands, of both public-private meetings with many of the largest companies, government agencies, and banks around the world. These discussions have changed continually since 2014. They went from blockchain is of the devil and devil's Ponzi scheme must be stopped at all costs to now perhaps being seen as the most pivotal technology of our era and future. This public change of thought took us a decade. So these early meetings in 2014 often never got to the benefit of DGB, Bitcoin, etc., but were a fifth grade level cryptocurrency Q&A session. Sometimes these people had never even heard the term blockchain, let alone its value to humanity. But in 2016 and 2017, conversations were usually had with people who had a rudimentary understanding, but still were not sold on exposing their brand's reputation to the wild, wild west world of crypto. That's why still today, several companies use DGB and do not publicly acknowledge it. Our vision from the beginning was to build the most decentralized blockchain we could, while at the same time supporting the commercialization of use cases, levering the DGB network for security and utility, just as billions of devices and thousands of companies run on Linux. The narrative around blockchain shifted again in 2018 and 2019, with governments and leading cores realizing the need to incorporate it into their future dev and innovation. Yet, most still don't really know how this will occur in practicality. Many have been burned, after all, with worthless pilots. Very likely referring to pilot projects that maybe didn't go anywhere, that never really had a chance to take off. So likely they were conducted by firms either that didn't know what they were doing, wanted to jump on the bandwagon, didn't have the resources at their disposal to really dive headfirst into blockchain. But hopefully those will be fewer and fewer as time goes by. Speaking of meetings with government officials and important individuals, Charles Hoskinson here from about 11 hours ago at IOHK_Charles. I'll make a video up in Wyoming having dinner with the governor and lots of fun meetings. So people asking, what's going on there? Maybe a new partnership announcement coming up. Nothing that we can really say on the topic right now. Charles Hoskinson, of course, heading up IOHK and Cardano, ADA, the Cardano Foundation. Maybe we can expect an announcement very soon. I would imagine something will be in the news in these next few days. I can't quite comment on that right now. However, very interesting. Charles Hoskinson, again, having dinner with the governor of the great state of Wyoming. So I suppose we can expect to hear more on the subject in the near future. Chainlink Red Pill now at ChainlinkP on Twitter with this following opinion. I'm seeing a lot of this from bigger accounts who missed Link on its initial run. Smart. If you are paying attention, it's clear Chainlink isn't going anywhere, and it's a cornerstone to DeFi and the success of smart contracts. This is an incredible second chance for most, referring to the downtrend that we've been seeing lately with, of course, Chainlink. Here, Macro CRG tweeting, picked up a long-term bag of Link here. I will hold this forever. I am now fully fledged Link Marine. Chainlink is actually one of the few projects that we see is up today, up 3.7% in a down market, up to $8.68. And yes, although it's true that there was a very significant retracement there, you can really see in the last 30 days, Chainlink was really knocking on the door of, I shouldn't say knocking on the door, but it was somewhere between the $17 and $18 range. So it has retraced quite substantially, losing more than 50% of its value. But again, taking a look at the broader snapshot, you can see that people are interested in this technology, in this network for a reason. I think I tend to side with Chainlink Red Pill here. I do believe that Chainlink is in it for the long run. I think their future is much brighter than their past. And hey, not financial advice, but I would also imagine that they will soon, at some point in the future, will be reaching new all-time highs above and beyond the $18 range. And finally, Trustswap, with this announcement from just a few hours ago, the Trustswap Bounty program is now live. You can earn up to 2,000 swap, SWAP, for each project you onboard. Want to make crypto your full-time work-from-home gig? Here is your chance. So calling out every member of the Altcoin Buzz army that's perhaps thought about this in the past, it's time to get Trustswap into the world in a big way. Again, the Trustswap Bounty program, you can earn up to 2,000 swap for each project you onboard. Well, that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you are following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell, of course, to receive notifications if you guys enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Thursday. Stay safe out there, everybody. I will be away for the next few days. In fact, I'm going to be camping, and thus I will be in a remote setting. I will not be recording or uploading to YouTube, but I should be back early next week or so. So let me wish you a very happy weekend ahead of time. Stay safe out there. As always, guys, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.